Are the Bitcoin miners you're invested in at risk? Let's find out. Welcome back, traders. In light of what happened with CIFR just the other day, where Bitfury, a major holder of the stock, announced that they would be selling massive amounts of their CIFR, causing a huge dump in the stock. Today, I want to take a look at other publicly traded Bitcoin miners that have very large ownership, concentrated ownership, that could potentially see something like that happen to them as well. So I'm going to be showing you this on my Webull app on my phone, since the Webull app for desktop does not show that. So in the background behind that, you'll see a 1 minute SPY chart for the day, kind of just playing behind my app view here that I'll be showing you. Anyways, let's take a look here. So let's start at some of the suspects I got here. So let's look down here. We got Core Scientific. Let's take a look at them once. Actually, not them. We're going to look at Sato Technologies. Sato is a Bitcoin miner. They're very small, micro cap, $32 million market cap. They show up on the Compass Mining monthly report. That's why I'm talking about them, because if you look at that report, you'll see them on that report. So let's take a look at their profile on here. And you can see here immediately insiders 45.87% and corporation nearly 13%. So basically 60% of the entire company's insiders and corporation, meaning that this could easily be dumped by 60% of its shares could easily be dumped on you. So for that reason, I see this as high risk and I'm out of it. So no Sato. Let's see Core. Core just got relisted recently. Let's have a look see. What are they looking like right now? They've got insiders 15%, corporation 7.5%. So over 20%. Honestly, anything over 10 is a little concerning to me. I don't love it, especially with low institutional investment here. Institutions only make up 5%. You'll see some of the ones I do invest in have that higher corporate ownership, but they also have a very high institutional ownership, which kind of counterbalances that corporate ownership aspect of the stock. So in this case, Core Scientific, I'm not interested in it until I see greater institutional investment in this stock to counterbalance that insider and corporate ownership. I do want to see insiders, like corporate ownership could grow, but insiders needs to go below 10, or I'm not interested. It concerns me. So higher institutional ownership, lower insider ownership, corporate ownership could go up or down. Not as concerned about that if the institutional investment is there. Got to be clear about that. BitDeer. Let's look at their profile. And that's a terrifying graph. Insiders own 56% plus a 2% corporate ownership. That is way too close to 60%. Institutions own 15% of that, but that is dwarfed. Only retail ownership of this is only 25%. BitDeer is the highest risk right now of being just completely dumped by its insider ownership. I would stay far, far away from this as if it were radioactive. This is no, absolutely not. I want to see that get way, way smaller before I'd even think about buying BitDeer. That is terrifying. This thing is absolutely primed to dump on you as an investor. Let's take a look at TeraWulf now. TeraWulf, $400 million company. Look at their profile. Corporate ownership, 37%. Insiders, 7.65%. Uh, Absolutely not. Again, absolutely not. Not interested in this. I wasn't interested in this company even before this because they sell all of their Bitcoin. They don't hold any of it. So that concerns me. I don't like that. I don't want anything to do with that. But then I come in here and see that over 40%, actually 45% of the company is owned by corporate and insider shares. No, absolutely not. You're going to get dumped on as an investor by these. As soon as that price hits whatever target they want, which you don't know what that is, you're going to get dumped on by those insiders. Let's take a look at the Sage Tracker, see their ownership here. It's only going to show institutional ownership. Vanguard and BlackRock own 4% of this. How much money do they have in there? 12 million. That's a drop in the bucket for them. They don't really care that much. Um, yeah, I'm staying far, far away from TerraWolf because of this massive insider corporate ownership, as well as the fact that they don't hold any of their Bitcoin. They sell it all. So I'm not interested, unless that changed recently, but don't like it. Let's get any. Sphere 3D is a $32 million company. Again, this is a micro cap. I don't really want to invest in it just off of that specifically because it's a little too small for me. Let's take a look at their company profile. Institutions own 0.8% of this. Corporate 1.88, insiders 6.2%, the rest is 91% retail. This is the opposite problem. This does not have, this has too much insider ownership. Well, not too much, but close to too much insider ownership. Not even close to enough institutional investment, and it's entirely um, retail owned. Now, that could show opportunity for perhaps a short squeeze on this in the future as institutions take a look at it and places like whichever ones were shorting GameStop and AMC take a look at this and you might get a short-term short squeeze out of this because they'll see, oh, it's owned by retailers, retail traders, we can manipulate that and squeeze them down. uh, that's potential there, but which would eventually end in a squeeze. But 91% ownership, not even 10% institutions. No, I'm staying far away from that too. Iris Energy, I stay away from them for other reasons, but let's take a look at their company profile. Institutions, okay, 28%, insiders 16. That's still a little too high for me. It's a little too high for me. It's over 10% on the insiders. How many insiders are there even? Let's take a look here. It doesn't even show me who they are. No, no, it's a little too high. It's a little too high. Again, I believe that they also don't hold a lot of Bitcoin, so I'm not interested. Even though in institutions, there's 28% institutions, that were closer to 40, I'd probably be like, okay, 16% is not that bad. But just based on 16%, don't love it. Let's see, who owns them? I recognize Van Eck up there. Yeah, not owned by any of the biggest companies. I see Morgan Stanley, but like BlackRock's way down here. No Vanguard, no Investco, none of that stuff. No thanks. Iris Energy, I'm not interested in that. Too much, too high insider ownership, too low institutional ownership. Let's take a look at the profile for Argo Blockchain. Let's look down here. 98% retail, 2% institutions, 0.02% insiders. Their insiders don't even believe in their company enough to own 1% of it. Uh, Now, I know this video is kind of about bashing insider ownership. I want to see some insider ownership. 0.02% insider ownership of a company, no corporate ownership, not even 2% institutional ownership. And I bet if we look at which institutions those are, we probably won't recognize any of those names. Um, if you don't even believe in your own company, why should I invest in it? Like, if you're not even going to own 0.5% of your own company, why should I? So that's my perspective here. I don't like that, actually. I hate that. Let's take a look at Sage Tracker, see which institutions actually own this thing. No idea. Redwood Wealth Management, I've seen before, but I don't know who that is. No, Morgan Stanley's on here a little bit further down. How much do they even own of this thing? 0.02%. They own $11,000 worth of this company. So they even forgot they own it. That's how little that is to Morgan Stanley. It's so little money they forgot they even have it. Uh, No, absolutely not. I'm staying away from this. I don't know who any of these people are that own this, and even the insiders don't want it. So yeah, Argo, I'm staying far away from that. Let's take a look at Hive, their profile. Corporate 7%, insiders. Oh, so this Hive kind of like barely squeaks by and having okay metrics here for me in terms of the corporate ownership and insider ownership together are less than 10. We've got at least 15% institutional ownership, 73% retail. Like I'm still a little weary of it, but I like that there's 17% institutional ownership. Let's look at the Sage Tracker and see who those institutions are. Investco, State Street. I like seeing that. Invesco, State Street. I see those two names. Get a little bit of confidence in the stock. BlackRock's on here. Morgan Stanley is on here. How much is it though? They own 250,000 with. I mean, that's still a small amount for them, but not enough to forget about. BlackRock owns, $600,000 of it. Again, small amount for them, but not so small they forgot it was there. Yeah, Hive is on the edge. It's all right. I'm not gonna do. I can do Riot. Sure, I'll look at Riot. That's the biggest one. I know it's gonna be good. Yeah, institutions own 41% of this. Retail owns 45%. Insiders at 11%, which is a little bit high, but with that huge institutional ownership, gives you some confidence in it. If we look at the Sage Tracker, we're gonna see just names we know. Ownership, yeah, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Morgan Stanley at the top, all with hundreds of millions of dollars in this thing. So yeah, Riot is that's good. I think Hut, with the new merger and stuff, that their numbers aren't showing correctly really in here. So I'm not really gonna even look at that one. I want to see it mature more before I even make an opinion about it. Let's look at CIFR just to compare. So I know we looked at this before, but let's look at it again to compare it to the other ones I was just talking about. See if we scroll down here, corporate ownership. This is all one corporation that owns this. That's why corporate ownership concerns me, because that could be one corporation, it could be multiples. And in this case, it's a third party corporation that owns 68% of the company right now, and they're going to sell a vast majority of their shares, which completely tanked the stock that one day and could do it again, probably will do it again. So that concerns me. Also, institutions don't even have 10% of the stock, so I'm not super interested in it as a hold throughout, through the halving. Now, I've played with the warrants. I've made a little bit of money with the warrants. That's a very short term. Like we're talking I buy it when it's 60 cents, I sell it when it's 90 cents kind of play. Like I'm not trying to buy it, hold it through the halving, wait till 2025 on it. I just want to make a quick, you know, 30-40% on it and just get rid of it and not think about it again until it's really low priced again. And you can see today the warrants they didn't even go up half as much as the stock itself, so that's probably going to go up more. Anyways, let's look at our favorites. Let's look at the favorites of the trade cave. It's going to be Bit Digital, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, and Marathon Digital. Let's start with Bit Digital. Their company, go to the profile. Now they have 40% institutional ownership, 7% corporate ownership, and 51% retail ownership. This is exactly what I want to see. This is how I want this pie chart to look. Just like this. This is great. This makes me feel like this company is healthy. It feels we got 0.5% are insiders, but there's also the corporation, which is also technically insiders. So we don't have 10%, got about 8-ish percent. The insiders themselves, which are going to be the individuals, own at least 0.5% of the company, so they have some belief in it. Institutions own 40%, so big players believe that this is going to be profitable for them. And if we look at the Sage Tracker, we're going to see some names that we know. Right at the top, BlackRock, Invesco, State Street, VanEck. Vanguard is also on this list. And if we look at the dollar value, Vanguard owns $1 million, VanEck 4, State Street 7, BlackRock 12, Invesco 12, and they own 6% each, well, almost 6.5% respectively of those with those two top holders there of this company. So they believe in this company, which gives me confidence and makes me want to also somewhat believe in this company. Let's take a look at Bitfarms. Bitfarms has got a lot of attraction lately, a lot of activity lately in it in the last few months. Let's see what their profile looks like. It looks good. 21, almost 22% institutions, less than 10% insiders, 70% of the rest of that is retail. Now, this could get squeezed because of all that retail ownership, and some institutions might see that and think it's ripe for a squeeze, but 21% of that ownership is institutions. And again, if we look at the Sage Tracker, ownership, Invesco, State Street, VanEck, Citadel, Morgan Stanley. How much does Morgan Stanley have? They have 1.5 million, way more than in what was that other company that I was looking at? That was like they forgot. I was Arc, not Arc, Argo, Argo Blockchain. Yeah, Morgan Stanley hasn't forgotten that they own this company, Bitfarms. I don't. BlackRock is down here. They have what $600,000 in it, not a lot, but yeah. If we scroll up to the top here, Invesco put $10 million into Bitfarms. State Street put $4.5 million into Bitfarms. Yeah, that excites me. That gives me some confidence in Bitfarms. Seeing the large institutional investment, low, like not low, but like insider ownership, but not too much insider ownership. and that is good. Let's look at CleanSpark. Company profile. CleanSpark, 40% nearly institutions, insiders own less than 3%, and others are 58%. Again, this is exactly how I want to see this pie chart look. Lots of institutional investment, some insider investment, and a good amount of retail investment since obviously it's a crypto related stock. It's going to have a lot of retail. Let's take a look at the Sage Tracker and see who owns this bad boy. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Invesco, all the names you want to see, Goldman Sachs, all the names you want to see. And they own 6%, 4%, 4%, 2.9%. How much money do they have in here? BlackRock has $35 million into CleanSpark. Vanguard has 28 million, State Street 23 million, Invesco 17 million. They want to make money with this. They think they're going to make money with this. So therefore, I think I'm probably going to make money with this. Their ownership is at 751, 622, 604. So they are already making money with this. Technically, I am too because I invested at lower valuations than current valuations, but this is how I want this to look. Let's look at Marathon as well. Company profile, 40% institutions, corporate, 2.5, insiders, 3.2, others, 54, that's retail. Again, exactly how I want this chart to look. This is what I want to see when I look at the ownership of these companies. And let's look at the Sage Tracker. And I bet you we're going to see a bunch of names we know. Vanguard, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, State Street. Invesco's somewhere in here too, I am sure. Okay, anyways, how much do they own? 8% from Vanguard, 7% from BlackRock, Morgan Stanley 3%, State Street 2.3%. How much money? Vanguard believes in this company to a tune of $157 million. They must have got a better fill price than BlackRock did. BlackRock believes in it at a value of $394 million. They don't want to lose that. They remember this company. It's on their radar. Morgan Stanley's got 59 million, State Street 44 million, Goldman Sachs has 20 million invested in it. Oh yeah, Vanguard got in at an average price of $20 and BlackRock at an average price of $24. Currently, we're at $18. Currently, they're losing money. Currently, they want to see this price value, the stock of this, the value of the stock to go up. As do I. So that's it. Our favorites, they look good in terms of their pie chart of ownership. The ones I just showed you that are at high risk are, honestly, Core Scientific is a bit high risk. BitDeer was the highest risk. I would stay far away from that. Terra Wolf, also extremely high risk. I would stay far away from that. Sphere 3D is just a micro cap. It's very retail traded. I would stay away from it, but it's not as toxic as the other two. Iron and Argo, I think Iron was, I'm going to look at it again because I already forgot what it was. um, Iron was kind of okay, but too many insiders. So it wasn't absolutely toxic, but like it is scary and I'm staying away from it. Argo blockchain, I also forgot what it's looked like. It is just like Sphere 3D. It's not quite a micro cap, but also a little too risky. I would label that as higher risk, not nearly as toxic. The two that are absolutely toxic are BitDeer and TerraWolf. Keep your eyes out for those two. Stay. This is not financial advice nor a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold anything, but those two stocks scare me to death. And the core four, as I'm going to call them, that I like to follow, pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with that. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a tropical day.